What if the asteroid responsible for the dinosaurs' extinction hit Earth again? In 2013, the year when Earth was threatened by an imminent catastrophe. The asteroid that struck Russia. It was a large, rocky asteroid, 20 meters in diameter and weighing as much as the Eiffel Tower. It exploded in the air over the city of Chelyabinsk, Russia, home to 1 million people, many of whom had cameras that captured stunning images. The asteroid exploded with a force equivalent to 26 times the explosion of the Hiroshima atomic bomb, causing damage to about 7,000 buildings and leaving 1,500 people in need of medical care due to injuries. It is believed that an asteroid of this size and weight strikes Earth randomly, landing somewhere every 60 years or so. These asteroids typically fall in places where no one lives, like the oceans. However, sometimes these asteroids fall on cities with millions of people, as happened over Chelyabinsk. This may not seem too bad now, but there was a time when Earth was subjected to violent strikes from much larger rocks. One of these was catastrophic enough to kill every living thing on the planet, as if in a strange correction to the balance. This impact caused the extinction of large creatures like the dinosaurs. This was the asteroid that struck Earth 66 million years ago, and so much time has passed that it is difficult to find its traces. But today, we ask, what would happen if such an asteroid hit Earth in the same location today? Would it necessarily wipe out everyone? For those unaware, the asteroid responsible for the dinosaurs' extinction was a solid mass, with a diameter between 11 to 15 kilometers, bigger than Mount Everest and also heavier. Imagine, for a moment, Mount Everest heading straight toward your city at 40,000 miles per hour. You know, of course, that the damage from such an impact would be massive, and that you would die as a result. But what you may not realize is the extent of the destruction and annihilation that would ensue. As it flies and burns in the sky, you would watch helplessly as the asteroid advances toward oblivion, shining brighter than the sun before finally colliding with the Earth, releasing an amount of energy equivalent to that produced by the explosion of 100 trillion tons of TNT. This energy is 1 billion times greater than that released in the explosion of the Hiroshima atomic bomb. If you were standing close enough to see this fireball fall from the sky before it hit the Earth, you would be dead within seconds. Any living creatures within a 1,000-kilometer radius of the impact site would also vaporize in seconds. If the asteroid hit Manhattan, everything in Halifax, Indianapolis, and Charleston would be obliterated immediately. From the perspective of those living in Europe, if the asteroid struck central London, everyone in the UK, Ireland, France, Belgium, Switzerland, Germany, and Denmark would perish instantly. Plants, trees, and grass within 1,000 kilometers of the impact site would turn into tongues of flame due to the incredible levels of heat, and wildfires would break out across the continent where the impact occurred. At the impact site, the asteroid would leave a massive, deep crater on the Earth's surface, with a diameter of 150 kilometers and an astonishing depth of 20 kilometers. This crater would be larger than the entire area of the island of Hawaii, and deep enough to contain Mount Everest with another Everest on top of it, along with 3 Burj Khalifas stacked above. On our planet, there is no fortress deep enough underground to protect you from such annihilation. In the lowest estimates by scientists, the impact would produce an earthquake with a magnitude of 10, 1 on the Richter scale, greater than any earthquake Earth has experienced in the past 160 years. 8 minutes after the impact, the sky would rain rocks that vaporized in the aftermath, returning as hot ash and soot that would burn the surface and ignite more wildfires. 45 minutes after the impact, sudden, violent winds would roar across the impact zone, reaching speeds of 600 miles per hour, flattening any structures or trees that were still standing. If this asteroid struck America, as it did 66 million years ago, it would destroy the entire North American continent. Wildfires would break out across its entirety on the first day, and a chain of events would begin to unfold, wiping out all forms of life everywhere. The shockwave from the impact would also trigger a tsunami that would end all forms of civilization. The tsunami waves would reach heights of 300 meters, sweeping over lands already ravaged by fires and choked with ash. And beyond all this, there would be a massive crater left at the site. At this point, it might seem like we're presenting an apocalyptic prophecy, but there's more. The vast amounts of ash and debris propelled into the atmosphere by the impact would blanket the continent in darkness for some time. A permanent fog resembling twilight would cover the world for about 3 years. Photosynthesis by plants and plankton would be greatly restricted worldwide during these years, and most plants would likely die. As a result, animals that rely on plants for food would also die, and animals that depend on those animals would perish as well. Just as happened last time, the global ecosystem would collapse. If it were as severe as the previous catastrophe, it would mean the extinction of 70% of life forms on the entire planet. Acid rain would fall worldwide, and ocean acidity levels would rise. But the greatest challenge life would face would be the drastic climate change due to the ash and debris ejected into the atmosphere by the impact. Earth would enter a harsh winter lasting for many years, with freezing temperatures and no other seasons at all. Earth would experience a winter akin to the one in Game of Thrones. But after this winter, the planet would rapidly warm up in a sudden global warming event that would feel like it had been waiting on the doorstep. Due to the wildfires that broke out across an entire continent, or even globally, massive amounts of gases would be released into the atmosphere. One estimate suggests that 10,000 billion tons of carbon dioxide, 100 billion tons of carbon monoxide, and 100 billion tons of methane would be released into the atmosphere as a result of this catastrophe. Earth would suffer a double blow: years of harsh winter followed by years of extreme summer heat. This would likely exceed the ability of any species to survive and adapt, just as it did last time. But the lesson we should learn from this catastrophe is that Earth is more resilient than we are. A disaster of this magnitude might seem like the end of the world, but it would not be the end of the world itself. Of course, it would be the end of our experience in this world, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. For that, it would take a much larger and more terrifying event than an asteroid impact. Thankfully, such life-consuming asteroids have not been detected yet, so there's no need to worry, at least not now. Or let's say asteroids should be the last of your worries right now. Liking the video and sharing it with your friends is the biggest support for spreading the channel. Subscribe to the channel